Hi there. If you want to learn how to create sound effects, then you are in the right place. In this video, I'll be showing you how to create a sword strike sound effect like the ones I showed in the intro of this video. So I'll be showing you the 4 layers that I like to use for all of my sword combat sound effects, and I'll be doing that as I break down the redesign of the short clip from the video game Neo 2. All right, so here we are inside of Reaper, and like I said, there's 4 key elements that I like to have for my sword combat sound effects, and those are the weapon swings, the some sort of scrape sound to identify the weapon and what the weapon is made of. So usually that's going to be some sort of metal scrape, and then the hit. So what is it hitting? So again, usually it's going to be some sort of like metal hit sound, maybe some ground or some clothing sound. Obviously, it totally depends on what the object being hit is. And then the last layer is going to be some sort of enhancer. So this could be like a whoosh to intensify the swing. It could be some sort of gore sound, maybe even a kick, or some sort of like elemental sound to if it's like some sort of magical weapon or something like that, right? Or it can be a combination of all of those. So yeah, so let me show you here what we have inside of this redesign here. And there's a lot of different sounds, and some have like power-ups and some don't. So let me show you kind of all of these different layers in different contexts here. So so here is the first and second scrape that sword slash that I have. So let's have a look at what they sound like here just on their own. Okay, so those are the sounds. So I did these in 2 different ways. So the first way here is I did individual layers for this first slash. And then the second one here, I did kind of everything combined into one. So let's have a listen here. So the first one here, like I said, I have a scrape sound, right? Of course, for the sound of the sword here. Next, I have our swing sounds here. And lastly here, I have some impact sound here, which is just a metal ringing sound. Right, for when it hits the enemy blade there. Right, and you can see here, these are all processed a little bit here. So I've added Crafter. This is a new plugin that I'm kind of testing out here. So if I take this off for the swings here, the scrape, adds a little bit of grittiness to it. The swing here, again, I did a lot of processing. So if we take it off, all right, so a lot heavier and bigger swing there. And then the hit. Or just beefing it up a little bit and add a bit of distortion in there. But those are the sound. Right, so we can see here the layers. We have the scrape, the swings, and the metal hit. And this one here for the second hit, I did everything kind of all baked into one here. Right, but the same idea. You can hear all those elements in there. So let's have a look at a different one here, a different attack here. Right, so here I had some enhancer sounds, as well as my 3 kind of core sounds, so swing, scrape, and hits. So let's have a listen to these. So let's start with the swing, scrapes, and hits here. So here I have a swing hit. Swing, scrape. And again, swing and metal hit this time. So together we have this. Sounds good. And then I have my enhancer for this one, which is going to be some sort of gore sound, which I have here. Right, so all together we have this. Now at the very end here, I have a little scrape sound here. This is just for the blade. Once it's like hits the ground, it's like pulling it back up. Right, and that's just a scrape sound. So all together now we have this. Okay, let's have a look at another one here with similar enhancers here. Again, here I have my gore, but before that, here I have swing, scrape. And a hit that's ringing out, and then I have an impact sound here. And then with the gore. Right, so you can see how you have, again, all these similar elements. You have your screen, your scrapes, your hits, and then some sort of enhancer. Usually gore is a pretty good enhancer for these types of sounds here for this kind of redesign. But here we have something completely different here. And this one has quite a few different layers, as you can see here, because it has quite a lot going on. So let's have a listen to all of this together first, and then we'll break it down. So there's quite a lot going on here. So let's first have a listen to our core sounds, and then we'll go back and listen to all of the enhancers that we used to make that up. All right, so for the start, the only real sound that we had was this one, which was kind of like this metal shield impact thing that I have. right? But outside of that, I don't even use my swing or my scrape in this instance because it's like a power attack. The enhancers end up taking up a lot more of the sound. So let's have a listen to what I did with these here. So I have one here, which is an airy whoosh. Right. I also have like this thunder-ish kind of whoosh as well. Right. So this one's a lot more bassy, a lot more of those low and mids. This one here is a lot more of the highs and kind of noise-based. All right, so together now with these three sounds here. Right, so that kind of signifies that player getting, starting the power attack. After that, we have some gore, a lot of gore sounds here. And I added even more for the second hit. Right, after that, for the second one, we have a few items here. Right, a swing and an impact to hit the ground. Swing and scrape. And then an impact. So together here with our core elements, we have this. I think I have another scrape here. Right, so that's the core of our sound here. And then again, we add more to it by adding this layer here. Again, this is a whoosh, an enhancer whoosh sound here. Right, so that's building up to the impact there. So if we add all of these sounds back in here together, sounds like this. All right, so far this is what we have. Right, and after that, it's just a matter of adding a few more items here. I have a scrape here for pulling out the blade from the body. And I have a magic whoosh here. Again, that's just to accentuate the blade getting pulled out. So it's not just a scrape sound or a sword sound. You also have like this whoosh, this like pulling apart sound. Again, it's just adding intensity to that sound, right? Layering it together. Same thing with this one down here. Right, so now if we play all of these together, this is what we have here. Right, so hopefully you start to get the idea here of the elements that I'm using and how I'm using them. Sometimes some are more the forefront, some of them take like a back seat, and sometimes the enhancers take a front seat. It just totally depends on the context of the sound. So let's have a listen to this final blow here, because this one, again, it's a similar example where the power, the strength of the attack is more important than than just the sword sound. So let's have a listen to this here. Right, so here again, you don't really hear any of that metal sound. You kind of hear the trigger here, the stinger here at the beginning to signify the start of that power attack. And that is a sword sound, but I pitched it down quite a lot here and added some reverb to it. So if we listen here. Right, it is just a sword sound, but then with everything added onto here. Right, it's more of a trigger sound. Then I also have this like low whoosh to go with that. Right, after that you go to the attack itself. Of course, you have your gore element. Crackly whoosh here. And a thunder whoosh. Right, and if we play all these together. Right, so for this specific attack here, you can obviously tell the sword doesn't really have a big play in it. What's really important here is going to be your gore sound, and then obviously the power attack, which is going to be your whooshes for this instance. All right, so let's have a listen here to our final kind of swing here, just so we have another one that's a bit more grounded. Right, so you have your swing and your metal hit. Here you have a scrape. And then here, another one. Another swing. So all together here, we have this sound. All right, so I hope you found that useful and valuable in seeing that redesign and seeing how I'm using the 4 different layers differently based on the context of what's happening in the game, in the gameplay, and what I want to bring out. Maybe it's more power, maybe it's more of the elemental parts, maybe it's more of the sword, the ring, right? it totally depends. So experiment with that, have fun with that, and let me know what you think about it. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to see another video where I actually show you how I created the gore sound effects from scratch, a lot of these gore sounds that you saw in this particular video was actually just made with just using my mouth. So a lot of it is just like mouth sounds and creating these gore sounds with my mouth and then designing them from there. So if you want to see that, I did a whole video about that. I'll have it on the screens here. And if you have any comments, questions, like I said, down in the comments below. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.